Hi guys, it's Sophia here from ALM Fitness, and today I want to talk a little bit about sleep. And sleep is a really big subject to talk about. I've just finished the book on Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep, as well as doing other sleep research along the way to kind of consolidate my understanding of sleep. So to put everything that I've learned in the book and the research into one video would either take me for ages and you would get really bored of hearing me speak, or I'd be doing you a disservice and not explaining thoroughly what there is to know. So I'm going to kind of do this in a few different stages. So this is going to be chapter 1 as such of a sleep video. And today I'm going to talk predominantly about sleep and wake times. So bedtime routines, etc. Well, not routines, but bedtimes, etc. So first and foremost, I need to start by saying how important sleep is. So I know it might sound really boring and you might have heard it all before, but sleep really is one of those foundations for overall health and fitness. So just like proper nutrition and regular exercise and the air we breathe outside, sleep is imperative to having a healthy body and a healthy mind. So not getting enough sleep is really bad for our bodies, but it's not just about getting enough sleep that's important. Our bodies work on a 24-hour time scale known as the circadian rhythm. So our sleep and wake cycles go based on this circadian rhythm. So what influences that are things such as light. So outside at the moment it's winter, so we get darker nights and everything else, our days are shorter. Also there's time and melatonin. So time is what we're going to talk a little bit about, bedtimes, etc. Melatonin is the hormone that's produced in the brain that makes us feel sleepy and helps us to stay asleep over the course of the evening. So first and foremost, light. We can't have much influence on natural light, but we can have influence in our homes and what we do. So obviously exposure to devices such as your phones, TVs, etc., laptops, the lights that you have on in the house, how bright your lights are, and even the colour of your lights. So quite bright bluey hues of lights really make our brains more awake because they mimic natural light a lot more than those warmer yellowy tones of light. So as it's coming towards bedtime and you want to fall asleep, it's important to start dimming the lights down and not having those bright lights on, as most of us are aware. Because then the reason for this being, which people might not be aware, is the fact that this is when our body should be producing melatonin to get us into a sleepy state in our bodies, okay? So another factor that's going to affect your melatonin is time. So the time of day, because that circadian rhythm gets into a habit, the time of day is going to affect the melatonin release. So what time we fall asleep, how quickly we fall asleep, etc. So if your body gets used to a regular bedtime, let's just say you have to get up early, 5 o'clock in the morning. So say you get used to a regular bedtime of 9, 10 o'clock at night to get your full 7 hours quota. Your body will start producing that melatonin about 7 o'clock at night, and so you should be powering down and doing everything you can to power your body down, ready for a nice settled sleep. So if the next night, for example, you think, oh well, it's Saturday, I don't need to get up until 10 o'clock in the morning, you might not go to bed till midnight, but your body is thinking, hang on a minute, it's starting to release this melatonin, and then you're not actually going to bed and feeding it its sleep, so it wakes back up and you get a second wind, and then it takes you even longer to fall asleep. So that's one of the reasons why regular bedtimes are really important. Because if we don't do those regular things, our circadian rhythm gets confused. It messes up our circadian rhythm, which in itself studies have shown links to weight gain and metabolic disruption, which can over time lead to metabolic disease and everything else, which obviously none of us want. So when we are children, we are regularly put to bed at a certain time, so say 7 o'clock at night, bedtime. You know, there's no questions asked, that is just what we do. And we really emphasise the importance of bedtimes to our children. and for good reason. Studies have shown time and time again that memory is increased by regular bedtimes in children, cognitive flexibility is increased and improved, dental health is even improved, children's inhibitions and their attention span is improved through regular sleep and wake patterns. So enough said with that. We want our children to be as healthy mentally and physically as possible, and by having a regular sleep routine as much as possible is what's going to help towards that. Not getting enough sleep is going to affect our brain chemistry for children and adults alike. So this is where our mental cognitive function starts to decline when we don't get enough sleep, as well as all of those physical factors as well. So to recap, not sleeping enough is really detrimental to every aspect of our physical and mental being, our health, our overall health as a person. And the ideal amount of time to sleep as an adult is 7 to 9 hours a night, to have sufficient sleep cycles. So when you're in your sleep, to have your deep sleep and your light sleep and your REM sleep, which I'll go on to more in a later video. And by having a regular sleep time, your brain gets used to that and manages to regulate your sleep over the night, knowing it's going to wake up a certain time in the morning. So by going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every morning, you are going to maximise your potential for not only quantity but quality of sleep, which is really important. On another note, it's also important to say that it might seem really unattainable, and it's not expected to be perfect. You know, if you've got an event or you're on holiday or whatever else, if you have a late night or a lie-in every now and again, on occasion, it's not going to matter overall. It's like everything. It's like food, 90-10, 80-20. If you are doing everything you are and doing what you should be doing for the majority of the time, that little portion of time is not going to be of detriment to your health. So it's not unattainable to expect to have regular bed and wake up times if you're doing it, say, 80% of the time. So I hope you found this helpful and that you might put a little bit more emphasis and effort into your sleep in the future. Thank you.